the concept of holiness seems to be heretical. Holiness means that a particular place or a particular time is holy, is sacred, is connected to God. Now, the basic Jewish understanding of God is that God is everywhere and God is found throughout time. And indeed, the Midrashim, at the beginning of Parshat Terumah, when the Torah tells the Jewish people to build a sanctuary, these Midrashim all ask the same question. How can God have a house when God inhabits everywhere? And indeed, they bring various verses from Jeremiah, from Yirmiyahu, from Malachim, from the Book of Kings, that indicate that the Jewish conception of God is that God is omnipresent, God is everywhere, and that God goes throughout time. And they wonder, how can it be that there is a particular place that is specified as holy? And the answer the Midrashim give is that holiness is for us, not for God. Holiness is psychologically necessary for all of us to understand that there can be a place where God is found. It is the human inability to fully appreciate God that requires us to build a house for him. Yes, God is found in the living room. God is found in the dining room. But we don't always appreciate that God is there. We need an appointed place, a specific place, to meet God. And indeed, the Rashbam, when he comments on what the word holy means, Asuli Mikdash, make for me a sanctuary, the Rashbam says sanctuary means an appointed place. And the idea is very clear. You know, one Hasidic Rabbi said that, where do you find God? One of his students asked him, where do you find God? And so the Rebbe explained, you find God any place you let him in. And the problem is that we don't always let God in. When we're sitting and lounging in our living room, we don't always feel that type of awe and reverence that it's necessary to feel in God's presence. We're simply not capable of feeling God everywhere. And so we need an appointed place to come and to meet and to greet and to confront God. And the same thing is true with time. Every day is holy. But we need a particular time that is, so to speak, free of distraction, so that we can devote ourselves to higher ideals and to consider what God means to us. Now, this concept of holiness, this concept of making holy appointments, setting aside a place and a time for God, is more relevant today than it was 3,300 years ago when the first sanctuary was built. Today, there is no place and there is no time. You know, I've been told by people who go out with friends who they haven't seen for many years. A woman that I know went out with a girlfriend she hadn't seen in 20 years, old friends. They go to the restaurant and they sit down, and her friend is on her cell phone. She may be sitting in the restaurant, but her head is somewhere else. I have people who go on vacation in the Caribbean, and they pick up their cell phone, and they call me and they say, Rabbi, guess where I am? I'm on vacation. They may be on vacation, but right that minute they're in Montreal. There is no place. And now with the BlackBerry, with emails coming in around the clock, and that you have to answer the email at 11:04 p.m., just like you have to answer it at 9:04 a.m. With the BlackBerry, there is no time. With cell phones, there are no places. With BlackBerries, there are no times. Everything blends into each other. Every moment blends into each other. Every place blends into each other. And the idea of holiness is setting aside a time and setting aside a place where we have an appointment with God, where we have the opportunity to put aside all distractions and come close to God. God is everywhere, and God is available every time. But human beings psychologically are not open to God all times, and psychologically we're not open to God in every place. And that's why we need sacred appointments. We need a holy place, a holy time, so that we can reconnect to God. And that's a concept that's even more relevant today than it was 3,300 years ago.